What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel. Shout out to ESPN. Link to the article in the comment section. I want to read some pull quotes, and it's about Kell Brook and his next fight. Now, Eddie Hearn was speaking with ESPN, did an interview with them, and he says, Kell, this is a quote, Kell is back in training, but he's not able to spar yet, so we've requested a further 4 weeks from the IBF for negotiations. We're speaking to Amir Khan. It could be Khan if he wants it, but we can't promise that will happen. He wants, meaning Amir Khan, a warm-up fight, and we want to go straight into it. Our priority is to listen to the IBF on who we have to fight, and they are telling us that will be Spence. I don't want to annoy the IBF about it. In 28 days, we will start negotiation for Brook's next fight. That will happen in May, and in the UK, I suspect. We've got 75% of the purse bid to play with, so I can't see us losing that. And for the full article, check ESPN. Link in the description box. I linked to it. And this is good news, man. I want to see Kell Brook versus Errol Spence Jr. And I think it's pretty obvious at this point why that's just at least to me. I'm going to explain to you why it's the better fight. Because Amir Khan has been knocked out 3 times. Bradis Prescott at 35, Danny Garcia at 40, and most recently, his last fight, Canelo Alvarez at 155. And later, Amir Khan did publish reports stating that Canelo was rehydrated to like 183 or 190 or something crazy. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know how true it is. But if that is in fact true, you got knocked out by somebody who's clearly bigger than you, clearly has power, and outweighed you, and was in the 180 plus pounds category. So I don't know how Amir Khan is going to come back from that. Not saying he can't, but I don't know how he's going to look. At one point, I was a huge advocate. When Kell Brook was undefeated, I was a huge advocate for that fight. I told you, I made several videos. It makes all the sense in the world. Khan Kell, Brook, Khan Brook, however you want to say it. And these two decided to dare to be great and come up short in their fights where they moved up all this weight. People said, oh, you're out of your mind. What are you doing fighting Golovkin? And another reason it was a bad idea for like both of them, but we'll talk about Kell Brook, is because you fought Sean Porter, which is currently the best name on your resume. You crossed the pond, became an IBF champion, and you still have that strap. Congratulations. And you fought a series of tune-up style fights where the guys were not favored to beat you or even really give you much of a challenge, right? Jojo Dan, okay, you're coming off a stabbing. We let that slide. Then you fought Frankie Gavin. Really? Like, who's he beat? Didn't he just retire recently? You know what I'm saying? He hasn't beat nobody. And Kevin Bezier was allegedly your mandatory, so you fought him. A guy who lost to the guy you stopped coming off of a leg stabbing. Jojo Dan beat him twice. So those fights don't prepare you for Golovkin. Really, they don't even prepare you for Errol Spence or any top-level person in the welterweight division. You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, people were down your throat about your resume had been lacking since the Porter fight. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to shut him up. No one asked you to shut him up by going up 2 divisions. That's just foolish. You know what I mean? Without giving yourself time to acclimate. And I mean, to Kell Brook's credit, he got up there and he gave Golovkin some issue. But it doesn't change the fact of you dared to be great and you still come up short. Golovkin still has his O intact. He's still undefeated. Kell Brook is not. So I think they really created a glitch in the matrix, both Brook and Khan, by stepping out of the realm of where they had been fighting. You know what I mean? Amir Khan had 3 fights before he fought Canelo. And his most recent one, he didn't even look that great before he fought Canelo. And that was the Chris Algieri fight. Chris Algieri coming off a 6 knockdown Pacquiao loss where he got destroyed in Macau, China. And Amir Khan had a long layoff, like a year layoff, and didn't even look like what you would call good in the Algieri fight. And then you fight Canelo. So, I mean, they're good money fights and you make money. But, I mean, people wanted to see Khan Brook when at least one of you guys was undefeated. You know what I mean? So I want to see Spence now, because Kell Brook, he has one loss, but it was at a much higher weight, 13 pounds or whatever it is. And it was to a guy who's considered the best middleweight and a champion and undefeated. So even though I don't know how his eye is healing. Hopefully it heals well, you know what I mean? But that's just the more intriguing fight. Errol Spence undefeated, Kell Brook once beaten, but it was at a much higher weight. To me, I don't see why this notion of, oh, we're waiting for Khan. I mean, IBF should definitely strip Kell Brook if he decides to fight Khan. I mean, none of this, like, it just, these sanctioning bodies got to get strict, man. It's like they're allowing all these like side bets and side deals. You know what I mean? Canelo in December met with Team Triple G and said, give us one interim fight or voluntary defense of the belt, the WBC belt, and then we'll fight Golovkin in September. And then he got that. He fought Amir Khan, knocked him out, and Golovkin fought Dominic Wade, knocked him out, right? Covered both those fights. And Canelo Triple G didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So they need to stop making these, being so lenient and making these exceptions, all the sanctioning bodies, right? Errol Spence, he's climbing up the ladder. I made a detailed video about it and my thoughts on the situation. Make sure you guys check that out. And he wants to pass the test. And it looks like to get the Kell Brook fight, he's probably going to go to the UK. He's going to have to go to the UK. And I'm okay with that. The UK has great fans. The British boxing has been on fire. Anthony Joshua, sellout crowds. Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg. You know what I mean? Electric crowd, 40,000 plus. Anthony Joshua, Klitschko. I mean, so I'm okay with Spence going out there for his test. I just want to see him get the fight. You know what I mean? So this, to me, this Amir Khan is like, that's not even something you should be waiting for. But Kell Brook does have a medical extension that expires late February. And then he's going to have to negotiate with Team Spence, Al Heyman, and make the fight. And the only way around it is if they take the money fight, which is Amir Khan. You know what I mean? You'll get more money. Like, I'm not dumb. He'll get more money for fighting Amir Khan based on the rivalry and both being from the UK, and Khan's probably just in general a bigger name as of right now than Errol Spence. But me personally, I don't really have as much interest in it because, I mean, he's coming off a bad knockout. And the thing is, what Eddie Hearn's saying is Amir Khan wants a tune-up, which is, I understand him wanting a tune-up because you came off a brutal knockout and you're going to go into a fight for all the marbles that's been building up for a couple years now since the Sky Sport ringside, and it's for all the bragging rights, and you're going to go straight into it. You know what I mean? Let Amir Khan fight the winner of Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, or the winner of Kell Brook versus Errol Spence Jr. I'm okay with that, but I really don't. I think the focus should be Kell Brook and Errol Spence Jr. So it looks like there's a chance that this fight might actually happen. For a while, it didn't look like it. It looked like he was going to vacate. It looked like he was going to fight Khan. So it's still up in the air. Everything's a shot in the dark. Maybe he pulls a, you know what I mean? Because Canelo did the same thing. It was like all roads lead to Canelo versus Golovkin in September. And out of nowhere, Canelo's going to court and he's like, you know what? Fuck these artificial deadlines. Here's the belt, Golovkin. WBC. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going to happen. But according to this article, it looks like those are narrow. They narrow down the choices to Khan first and then Errol Spence. And ultimately, I think Khan shouldn't even be a discussion. But, you know, boxing is business. Boxing is a business. So they're going to pursue the money route and the fight that, to me, is less threatening to Kell Brook. Because, I mean, Khan, he hasn't knocked anyone out since he's been at welterweight. Luis Collazo, he knocked him down 3 times. But there's a difference between getting knocked out and knocked down. Devin Alexander, Khan looked great in that fight. Very sharp. That's his best welterweight performance as far as I'm concerned. And then he fought Chris Algieri. And again, like I said, he didn't look exceptional in that particular fight. So, I mean, it's clearly the safer fight, but the higher money. So it would be a poor choice for Kell Brook to do that because we all know what you're doing. You're going for the fight that you feel is easier for more money. You know what I mean? You just made a ton of money for the Golovkin fight. No one told you to do that. So these guys need to get back on track. You know what I mean? No one told Khan to fight at Canelo weight. You know what I mean? So the world is not going to stop because you guys chose to step outside your comfort zone without acclimating and fight bigger guys. You know what I mean? Boxing has to keep going, and I want to see Errol Spence versus Kell Brook. And Kell Brook will get more credit. Like, he might get a bigger purse or paycheck or whatever, and UK bragging rights if he beats Amir Khan. But if he's the first to beat Errol Spence Jr. as a pro from the real boxing fans and people who know boxing, then he would get respect. You know what I mean? That's a hell of a bounce back from a Golovkin loss to beat an up-and-coming Olympian who looks dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is, this is not just like the Errol Spence show. This is a tough fight for him. Kell Brook, I mean, he was holding his own for rounds, you know what I mean, versus Golovkin at 160. So it's definitely not a give me fight, but that's why I want to see it. Win, lose, or draw for Errol Spence Jr. It's what he wants. It's what he's worked for, and I want to see it. But I mean, obviously for Errol Spence, that'll be the biggest name on his resume. If he wins, that's huge for him because he'll become a champion and he'll have a cap in the hat, just like when Kell Brook finally had the name of Sean Porter, an undefeated Sean Porter. Yeah, Sean Porter was undefeated. I think he just had a draw with Julio Diaz, but he didn't have any losses, and he was the champion. So it's going to either be the passing of the belt, or it's going to be like Kell Brook is back. He never really left. The only reason he lost is because he stepped outside of his zone, his comfort zone, and fought at 160. But he's still the best welterweight since Mayweather retired, right? And then they're talking about Kell Brook versus Pacquiao. See, that's another thing. I mean, not that Pacquiao really fights fighters coming off their best career wins, but if Kell Brook went in there and stopped Errol Spence Jr., then you make a strong case. Pacquiao's supposed to be doing this world tour, and they're talking about that's a future fight for this year. I mean, that would be a huge payday. Kell Brook knock out Errol Spence or beat him or whatever, beat him soundly, and then fight Pacquiao. That's just my take. Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.